Wow, I found a pretty nice little collectible shop. Even found a good deal on this Transformer figure. Shame so much of it is taken up by those frickin' Funko Pops. Would you like to join our big PP Power-Up Rewards program? Nope. Alright, let's... Hey, when did that shelf get there? And wait, when did it all become Funko Pops? Miss, what's going on? Ah!
Father, help me.
Ah! It's the Funko Pop I gotta get out of here! Funko frickin' Pops. If you frequent any kind of collectible store or any kind of toy store or any kind of gaming store or, you know what, just any kind of store, you've probably seen an entire shelf for these things, or maybe even a wall for them. There are a series of collectible figurines of various pop culture characters. Oh, did I say various? I mean practically all of them. Films, TV shows, other toys, anime, video games, other advertising characters. You want them? They have them, I guess. So if you needed to fulfill your obsession so much with a generic figure, bam, they're your guys, I guess. Now, Funko have been around for a long time, making a lot of different pop culture memorabilia, bobbleheads, little figures, lunchboxes, that kind of thing. But in the early 2010s, they launched Funko Pops, their attempt at the pop culture super deformed figurine market. And regrettably, they were a big hit and are still going to this day, getting a video game just this year, which is apparently great. And even reportedly a movie, apparently. Because they think they're the Lego movie, just without the emphasis on imagination and creativity that Lego as a brand emphasizes, whereas the only real message of Funko as a brand is consume! Yeah, you could tell I'm not a fan, so I'm going into this bias. But I really hate these things. This is something of a video essay, I guess. It's just not gonna be 3 hours long. And I'm not gonna devolve into a rant against YouTubers I don't like either. But just so you know, guys, Stinky Blue Rat is problematic because he's not actually stinky. He's lying to his audience. I'm just gonna give my reasons why I just despise the Funko Pop brand and why I just think they're overall bad for collecting culture in general. Now, if you feel like these things, that's fine. I'm not gonna call you out on my twitter.com or whatever, but please just hear me out. Reason 1, they're everywhere. I know this one sounds a bit redundant, like, yeah, they're popular. No duh, they'd be everywhere. But practically anywhere you can buy toys, they're there. But they just take up so much shelf space. Like, there are 2 GameStops in driving distance near me, and both have an entire wall space dedicated to Funko Pops. And none dedicated to the PlayStation 5. This is absolutely true. The PS5 games for both shops just occupied a corner of the PS4 shelf. Jokes about the PS5 having no games aside, I guess we had to make room for some of those giant poster Funko Pops, because nothing like taking an iconic depiction of a character and sucking away all semblance of personality or dynamicism. He's not even shaking the car! Not helping matters is they make Funko Pops for everything. Like, almost everything. And okay, again, in some regards, Funko Pops are sometimes the only thing available if you want a figure of something you love. But please, please have some standards, people. Like, who would buy these at this point? Who the hell wants a Funko Pop of Laura Palmer's corpse? Or someone from Workaholics? Or Will Smith's character from Bright? Yeah, I really want a figure from a Max Landis movie. Oh, don't know who Max Landis is? Here you go. Part 2. You ugly. Okay, since I brought up that Bright Funko Pop, it honestly shows an inherent problem with Funko Pops. They're just not aesthetically pleasing. They're most of the time just so bland. Sometimes to the point where they're so minimally featured, you can't tell who they are. Like, no joke, until I saw the box, I thought this was a figure of Al Powell from Die Hard. And at least that one is arguably on me. See this one? Recognize him? That is Elliot Anderson from Mr. Robot. How about this lad? Obviously, he's that HR manager who criticizes you for being on your phone while playing Candy Crush, right? Nope, that's apparently Ryan Howard from The Office. Well, how about this guy? Well, with his hair and chunk, he's John Goodman, right? From Roseanne? No? How is that? That is apparently Pam from Modern Family. See, a figure is like a caricature. It has to take the most recognizable aspects of the subject matter and somehow take those traits, shrink them down, and simplify them, and still make them recognizable. But Funko Pops take whatever individuality they may have and take it away until all that's left is a soulless, bubblegum-eyed husk. But they're not only bland, there are a lot of Funko Pops that are just flat out horrid to look at for a number of reasons. From the weird square motif making so that the figures are misshapen, or the horrific eyes that make the characters soulless husks. If you stare into the abyss stares back. And the sad thing is, there are some actually decent Funko Pops out there. Typically it's the one where the square head or black eyes, actually makes sense. Gurr actually looks perfect though, given I think he single-handedly made Hot Topic a big chain where these things occupy yet more shelf space. They basically had to get him right. And Stitch actually looks really good too because, hey, big black eyes. Probably why they made a million versions of him. So frustrating because you know they can do better, but they just don't. Which leads me to...
competition!
In the world of semi-generic pop culture figurines, these things aren't alone. There's stuff like Good Smiles Nendoroids, QMX's Q-Figs, Super 7's reaction figures, and to an extent, U2's. All of them, quite frankly, do a lot of what Funko is trying to do, just a lot better. Q-Figs have custom sculpts each time, with enough posing and detail that allow the characters to not only look cute, but actually be distinct. Nendoroids are not only adorable, they come with all sorts of fun accessories, interchangeable limbs, and faces, so that you could pose them however you'd like. You could even do stop motion. Reaction figures may not be everyone's cup of tea, given their whole motif is aiming for the late 70s, early 80s Star Wars action figure look, but at least they're articulated and you can tell who they're supposed to be just from looking at them. And while I'm not the biggest fan of U2's weird closed emoticon eye motif, they at least have more detailing so you can tell who the characters are supposed to be, and lately have been scaling back the motif in pretty subtle ways. I didn't even know I had U2's eyes as my eye highlights until recently. And all the ones I mentioned are just the big names. There are so many smaller companies doing their own similarly priced items. From blind bags to super deformed figures to model kits, in a lineup with all of these, Funkos certainly do look like the worst choice, don't they? Heck, Funko Pops are even the worst options in their own company, because Funko do a range of blind boxes with mystery minis, and all of them look better than their higher priced siblings. I actually have the mystery minifigure of Tron, and you know what? It's pretty dang good. Nice pose, immediately recognizable, and the style is alright. It just astonishes me how a company can have a really nice minifigure of the Iron Giant like this, and then have this. Also, do not claim the Iron Giant is from Ready Player One. I will smite you!
Virgin.
This one is going to come across a bit mean and maybe even a little contradictory towards my message at the beginning about how I'm not trying to judge people for getting these things, but hear me out. There is a culture with these things, and it's not a good one. You compare collectors for all sorts of merchandise and toys. They'll try and frame them the best way they can, as visually pleasing as possible, doing all sorts of fun photos with these characters. I see so many people doing wacky scenarios with their Transformers alone or doing stop motion with them. It's wonderful. Funko Pops, you just plop them down and that's it. They aren't posed in a way that makes them stand out. They're just there. They're there to occupy shelf space. In fact, they're almost tailor-made to be displayed only in their boxes, given they're roughly the same size. And hey, they're perfectly flat. Might as well stack them. Just a wall of these damn things. Just consume the merchandise, plebeian. And consume they do with Funko Pop collections. It's giant walls of these things, all unopened, all staring into your soul. But you gotta spread them around your house. Put them in your bathroom even, because you really need to have Steven Universe staring directly at you while you Oh, but you don't want him to be alone. Better get an acrylic shelf that openly says it's for Funko Pops that I found while writing this. I hate everything. There's nothing to these things than just brand. Love that brand. Like, I've seen a lot of videos of people displaying their odd collections, and with a lot of them, they seem genuinely enthusiastic and trying to display all that they have, all that they find in fun and creative ways. Whether it be action figures, or plushies, or even 1940s shaving memorabilia. I don't give a crap about Burma Shave, but this guy clearly loves it and wants you to feel the love for it. But I watched the video of the guy with the largest Funko Pop collection ever, and on top of them wall to wall just blending in, doesn't matter if they're the rare ones or not. However, something he says here stuck out to me.
Why do I love Funko Pops? Well, I guess it's because I love pop culture. And if there's anything that epitomizes pop culture, it's Funko Pops, whether it be TV, movies, wrestling.
Look, I don't want to put the guy down, especially when he's put, no doubt, a ton of money into them. But that feels like something an advertising executive would say. They don't actually say anything, they just express the brand. They express pop culture. And yeah, I know plenty of figures and toys are often just representing a brand, but they can also do a lot to express something about the character. Hell, sometimes I may get a figure for a show or movie I don't know much about, but the figure speaks to me. See this? This is Origami Cyclone from the anime Tiger and Bunny. I didn't know anything about the show when I bought it, but through an amazing design and great posability, it popped out to me, and I'm happy to have it. See this? This is the character Arshis Ne from Bat. I have no idea what Bat is even about, but it has such a great pose and flowing cape, I had to get it. Also, she's pretty hot. And hell, with buying a statue just because it's a sexy girl, at least you feel an attachment to a character enough you want to lust after them. Buying Funko Pops for the sake of the brand and keeping up with pop culture as this vague entity is the epitome of empty vanity. Looking at Funko Pop group chats and all the memes and jokes are about nothing but buying them and finding the rare ones, like the worst stereotypes of NFT collectors, whereas Gundam collectors are cracking all sorts of oddball jokes with them. I think that's why there are tons of jokes and memes about Funko Pop collectors themselves, where they're depicted as pathetic perpetual virgins who do nothing but, as I joked in the beginning, consume the brand. Granted, a lot of it is exaggeration, but what else is there to Funko Pop collectors? That Burma Shave guy isn't just getting Burma Shave memorabilia for the brand. He's doing it to evoke 1940s and 50s nostalgia, which is a very evocative, comforting era for a lot of Americans. There are plenty of people whose collection can actually say something about them. There are plenty of people who see their collections as a reflection of them and want to frame it as nicely as possible so that it reflects their interests and, to an extent, themselves as best as it can.
I remember getting my first system at around the age of 8. I remember when this game came in, the Conic basketball game, it was half broken and I took it apart and I was able to fix it to the point that I could play the game. And I loved it, I played it all the time. But just the fact that we weren't able to purchase games new and I had to take them apart to fix them, it just, I was fine with that. And it drove me to become an electrical engineer.
To put things in perspective, I've been to plenty of collector stores for a variety of things, whether it be sports, comic books, plush, or more retro toys. And usually what they'll do is display their items in an interesting way, have some kind of evocative music for what they're selling, or some art, or some photos to really drive home this is a haven for their fans. At a mall where I had a job interview, I opted to look around a bit and found this collectible shop, which was almost nothing but wall-to-wall Funko Pops. This is dystopian. 2 stores wide, no interesting displays, no color, no art. All there is product. It's enough to turn a sane man into Ted Kaczynski. If only there was a Funko Pop for that! There you go. That's my probably too long rant about why I hate Funko Pop. I know I'm not the only person who's made a video like this. Stuart Ashens has made fun of them numerous times. I Hate Everything did a video 5 years ago. Munahar did one 2 years ago. But that's the thing. These things continue to be a plague on collectibles and toys. Funko relatively recently dumped $30 million worth of Funko Pops at landfill. Such a miserable sight. And shows that not even the company themselves think they're worth anything, value-wise or even emotionally. It's just depressing. And I know these things are probably not going away anytime soon. They haven't had a huge crash like Beanie Babies. But the thing is, Beanie Babies are inherently charming toys for young children. Simple, affordable, and cute. People wrongly think they went away after their initial boom, but they've survived to this day, doing other styles, shapes, and licenses that are really charming. I still see people collecting Beanie Babies. And yeah, they're long past the days of the home shopping network displaying them, but they have a charm and interesting story with their boom and bust. There's nothing to Funko Pops. All I see are void-eyed biscuit heads wanting me to consume my brand slop, and I want no part in that. Guess I'll ask you now is, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Funko Pops? And how did this video make you feel? If you like them and your feelings are unchanged about them, good for you. Please tell me about it. I want to know, because I just don't get it, man.